Well, Ohio State has some huge Urban Meyer news going into the national championship. Congratulations to the former Buckeyes coach. Urban Meyer will be inducted into the class of 2025 College Football Hall of Fame. Now, Meyer raised the bar like no other coach ever has during his tenure at Ohio State. And now the expectations of those that follow him, including current coach Ryan Day, nearly impossible to match. But although a national championship this week by Ryan Day, along with his stellar winning percentage at the time he's been at Ohio State, that'll go a long way in Day's favor, no question about it. If you youngsters out there need a refresher course on how solid Urban Meyer was at Columbus, my goodness, in 7 years, 83-9. That was his record. Didn't even get to double digits in the loss column. 3 conference titles, 4 bowl wins, and a national championship. In fact, he won 10 or more games every year. Every year. Never lost more than 2 games. What a role. After a brief and unsuccessful stint as the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach, he has since landed at Fox as a football analyst for Big Noon. Back to Paul Finebaum for a minute. I can't get him out of my head. He wasn't done hating on the Big Ten. He get very defensive about that. After ripping Ohio State, he had some venom for Penn State coach James Franklin, by the way. He said Franklin will never win a national title. Of course, the Nittany Lions came within 3 points versus Notre Dame, making this an all Big Ten championship, which we would have preferred. But if that had happened, that would have caused Finebaum to have a stroke, I'm sure. He went on to say that Franklin can't win a big game. He's never won a big game. He didn't win one this year, and he won't win one next year. He says that's who he is. These are Finebaum's comments, not mine. Although we have discussed this topic here on Locked On Big Ten on whether it's true or not. And there's some there. But I'm not going to go in on say he's never going to win a big one ever, never win a championship this year, next year. I wouldn't say that. He also went on to say that Franklin is jinxed. He says, but that doesn't make him a bad coach. Go ahead and have it both ways. The Nittany Lions, by the way, won 13 games this year. Well, once all the dust clears here, they're going to look back and say, this is a pretty good season. Making it to the semifinals, 13 wins. It's a good season. 3 points for making the national championship game. Hey, speaking of Penn State, as you know, as we've talked about here on Locked On Big Ten, they need a new defensive coordinator to replace Tom Allen, of course, who bolted suddenly. That was a fast exit this week as he took the Clemson defensive coordinator job. Got about a $300,000, $400,000 raise out of the deal each year. One candidate, though, that Penn State is looking at, they're going back to Tom Allen's old stomping grounds. Remember, Tom Allen used to be the head coach at Indiana. They're looking at Indiana defensive coordinator Bryant Haynes. He's been with Curt Cignetti forever. Most of Curt Cignetti's staff has been with him a long, long time, going back to James Madison days and even before that. And so they're very loyal to him. They're a tight-knit group. And but the Hoosiers numbers got a lot of people's attention this year. The Hoosiers were number 2 in FBS with the fewest yards allowed per game at 256. They were number 1 in the country in fewest rushing yards allowed per game at 80 and 6th in the country in points per game allowed at 15.6. So, yeah, he's getting a look. That's for sure. And I got some more bad news for Penn State. Look, the one thing that Penn State has, they've had so many good pieces, good line play, good secondary, awesome running backs. Drew Aller, other than the Notre Dame game, usually pretty steady. They've had tight ends. Just can't get wide receiver right. They just don't have any. And nobody that can break the game open and help out Drew Aller a little bit, stretch that defense. They just haven't been able to do it. It's mind-blowing. I know they know it's a priority. They can't get it right. And they just lost out on another recruit they probably should have got. Rutgers beat them out. Rutgers beat out Penn State for a kid out of Pennsylvania, Elias Koch. He's a 3-star. Class of 2026 for Pennsylvania. Good size, good speed. 6'2", 195 already. And he's still a high schooler. And he's going to join star wide receiver Desir Carter at Rutgers. Rutgers, I don't know what Rutgers is doing. Usually they're ground and pound, running between the tackles. Heck, man, any more receivers, they might be running the run and shoot over there in Piscataway. But Koch is the highest rated wide receiver still available in Pennsylvania. And again, with wide receiver being a priority for Penn State, Coke even visited Penn State 11 times. 11 times while they were recruiting him, and they didn't close him. Rutgers got him. That's amazing. And here's the deal. It wasn't like because he was considering other schools like Miami, Michigan, Notre Dame, and he spurned them all to go to Rutgers. Good job. That's a nice get by Greg Schiano. That's a big swing and a miss by James Franklin on that. More recruiting news and transfer portal news and all this stuff. Michigan, they got a fifth-year senior, Jeff Percy. He's hit the transfer portal. Offensive lineman. Played in 38 games. Started 3. Filled in a lot. Played some special teams. Backup duty. It's a grad transfer with 1 year of eligibility left. Michigan's lost 6 linemen in the portal here over the past couple of weeks. In fact, 25 players have left. That's a lot different than last year. Remember last year? Okay, yeah, Jim Harbaugh left. A lot of coaching staff left. A lot of the players stayed. They believe in that Michigan thing, right? Well, 25 players have left here this year in the offseason. Now, 10 new players that we know of are coming in, and they're all pretty good. Michigan is doing a pretty good job of bringing in some good players for the transfer portal. But, yeah, much different picture than this time last year down there in Ann Arbor. And no new news as of now on Michigan defensive coordinator Wink Martindale. We talked about earlier this week on how he was interviewing with NFL teams. Got a lot of NFL in his background. 1 year at Michigan, very blitz happy, no question about it. That Michigan defense was playing really well in the second half of the season, but Wink is interviewing with the Falcons and the Colts. Looks like the Bengals want to talk to him. I don't have anything new on that today. Meanwhile, as we go into this weekend here today, a lot of Big Ten hoops, men's and women's. There's a couple of men's games I would like to point out to you because they feature 2 top 25 teams in the Big Ten going head-to-head. Saturday, 17th ranked Purdue is at 13th ranked Oregon. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on NBC. And then Sunday, 19th ranked Illinois taking on 12th ranked Michigan State at Sparty, East Lansing, 12 noon on CBS Eastern time. So check that out. All right, more of your comments. Welcome. I'm going to do it. We always close out the week with our big pigskin picks. It's basically a pigskin pick, although I have some other gambling information if you would like it. We'll have that all coming up in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. FanDuel. Watching games are great. You got a little something on it, they're even more exciting, more adrenaline. And from the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets. They upped it. All right, that's if you win your first bet. It's $300 to keep the action going. So FanDuel's very easy to navigate on the app. And the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com and join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.